Hey guys, I'm back with another Oathbreaker deck tech. This time I've got my personal Tamiyo Collector of Tales deck to go through with you. But before we talk about what signature spell we've got, we need to talk about the key card in the deck, the win condition. This is a Bio-Visionary deck. For one, a green and a blue, it's a 2/3 that says, at the beginning of the end step, if you control 4 or more creatures named Bio-Visionary, you win the game. And in a singleton format like Oathbreaker, that is a little tricky because we can only have one in the deck. And I'll show you how we pull that win off. But first, let's talk about Tamiyo Collector of Tales. For 2, a green and a blue, she starts at 5 loyalty. Spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to discard cards or sacrifice permanents. +1, choose a non-land card name, then reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all cards with the chosen name from among them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. -3, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. And our signature spell is Worldly Tutor, an instant for green. Search your library for a creature card, reveal that card, shuffle your library, then put that card on top of it. That works well with Tamiyo's +1 because then we know what's on top of our library, we can name that card and draw it that turn. Obviously, your first priority is getting that Bio-Visionary, and keeping it on the battlefield is of the utmost importance. That static ability helps us out with that. It can't be discarded or sacrificed. That doesn't really come up much, but it is an upside that helps. And if it does die, the -3 can return it from our graveyard to our hand. Super important. Now, since we can't have more Bio-Visionaries in the deck, we have to rely on clones and cards that put token copies of creatures into play. We have some nice low mana ones like Phantasmal Image, Glasspool Mimic, Phyrexian Metamorph, Fated Infatuation, and Mirage Mockery. Then we've got Replication Technique and Progenitor Mimic, both of which make more than one Bio-Visionary, and pretty importantly, 4 creatures that you can get out early and later on make them into a Bio-Visionary. That can be really important because you don't want to just do nothing until you get the Bio-Visionary out. Protean Thaumaturge is a little bit iffy. It involves enchantments entering the battlefield to make him into a copy of a creature. There's a few enchantments in the deck just for this reason, but not enough to make him good or reliable. However, that's how important I think getting an early clone out is to this deck's game plan. I'm willing to run a bad one. This next section is my favorite of the bunch. Cards that offer some form of card advantage. Because the deck can't just be clones, we need to fit in mana ramp and removal and some other cards in there too. And when we do, it feels like we never have enough clones. So cards like Quasi-Duplicate, which have Jumpstart, Cackling Counterpart, and Croaking Counterpart, which have Flashback, Vizier of Many Faces with Embalm, Mirror Hall Mimic with Disturb, and Mercurial Pretender with a bounce ability. All give this deck a little bit extra reach, a little bit extra card advantage, kind of. Anyway, more opportunities to get more Bio-Visionaries in play. Blade of Shared Souls has a similar thing going for it. If the creature token copy it makes dies, you can re-equip it to one of your 2 mana dorks to turn them into a Bio-Visionary. Undercover Operative is great because it comes with a shield counter, which protects it from dying. And last, Zyndersplit's Judgment makes a token copy of a creature you control and makes each opponent bounce a creature they control. That's really nice because one of the weaknesses of this deck is limited removal. Green and blue are not the premium colors for removal if you don't count counterspells. We've got 3 bounce spells for removal: Unsummon, Runaway Together, and Boomerang. These do double duty in that they can save your own creatures, bounce them back to hand rather than have them die. And Boomerang is especially nice in that it can return a Planeswalker to its owner's hand. Aetherize returns all attacking creatures to their owner's hand. It doesn't save yours, but it's kind of a mass bounce. Pongify and Rapid Hybridization both destroy a creature and give its controller a vanilla 3/3. And of course, we've got OG Counterspell. I can't build a blue deck without it. Teferi's Time Twist flickers to protect Tamiyo or Bio-Visionary or resets clones. Propaganda slows down combat because combat is a big weakness for us. Now let's talk about some other ways we can get value off of Tamiyo's +1. We need to know what's on top of the library, and it needs to not be a land if we want to draw it. Serum Visions, Brainstorm, and Fated Infatuation can all help us with that. And then we have 7 lands that scry or do something similar to scrying. Ooh, I almost forgot. Littlejohra Mirror Lake is a land that can sacrifice to make a token copy of a creature we control. So that's a really neat ability to have in a land for this deck too. Now let's talk backup plans, because the Biovisionary win is not always going to pan out for us. So half of our clones can only copy creatures we control, but the other half can copy creatures our opponents control. If they're getting some sweet stuff out and the Biovisionary win seems like it's going to be too slow, we can just copy theirs. Then the ones that can only copy creatures we control can just copy the copy. And that right there is called a loophole, my friends. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this. I'd like to do a bunch more deck techs, and I've got a series where I explore synergies between planeswalkers and possible signature spells in Oathbreaker. So if that sounds cool to you, feel free to check it out.